part one, we talked about the Kentucky Derby, and in part two, we took a look at the NBA playoff action. Now let's take a look at what people are calling the biggest boxing event of 2011. The WBO welterweight world title is on the line, and Pacquiao is a strong favourite to beat Mosley. With Pacquiao at -800, is this attracting a lot of bettors to back Mosley, Adam? And can you tell us anything else about the action on this fight?
Yeah, right now when you have a really big favorite like this, Pacquiao -800, he's a very significant favorite. He's looked pretty good. You know, he's been one of the best boxers the last couple of years, and Mosley has not looked too good in his last couple of fights, and the reason Pacquiao is such a big favorite. But when you have that big line, it's a lot of money to lay down to make a bet. So what we do see is a lot of people take Mosley at +500 or 5-1, looking for the big payday that maybe he can catch Pacquiao, maybe he can bring something that Pacquiao hasn't seen and get to a decision and maybe win that, maybe even get a draw. So it's kind of tricky when you have those big favorites and the big underdogs. Usually we'll get bet more on the underdog on the straights, but what happens is a lot of people will parlay Manny Pacquiao along with maybe a couple basketball games or a couple hockey games on the weekend, or even some UFC fights that are coming up in the next couple weeks, so that they could get even money or even a bigger payout with Pacquiao, who is such a big favorite.
And the total is at 12 rounds, is it? Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, we have it at actually 11.5, and the under right now is at -185. And we're taking quite a bit on the under, especially from some sharper bettors. What I think people see here is that this fight will probably end in a knockdown, most likely by Manny Pacquiao. And at the same time, the only way that Mosley maybe can win would be to knock down Pacquiao. So I think that's why we're taking quite a bit on the under here. People don't really think that this is going to go to decision.
What is the total usually on these boxing fights, Adam?
Depending on how many rounds the fight is, usually we'll have totals of 11.5, 9.5. Always depends. Sometimes when you have a really, really big favorite and he's out past the other opponent, you'll see totals of maybe 5.5 or 6.5 when it's almost pretty much a sure thing that the underdog will get knocked out.
Thanks to Adam Burns and Bodog.ca for their insight, and thank you for watching SBR.tv. You can subscribe to us at YouTube/SBR.DOTTV, and for the latest betting articles, odds and picks, check out SBRforum.com. Have a great weekend.